Hey everyone, and welcome back. If you're a senior citizen relying on SASSA payments each month, this is one video you absolutely can't afford to skip. Big changes are coming in June 2025, and the way your grant is paid out might look very different going forward. Whether you're receiving the older person's grant, disability grant, or even the child support grant on behalf of your grandchildren, this update affects you. Now, we all know how important these payments are. They help cover the basics: food, electricity, medical bills, and transport. But here's the thing, SASSA is making some serious adjustments this June. From payment dates to collection methods, and even new requirements for banking verification, there's a lot that could impact when and how you get your money. And if you're used to collecting your grant at the post office or retail stores like Pick n Pay, ShopRite, or Boxer, you'll want to pay close attention because some of those locations might no longer process cash payments the same way. Plus, there's talk about biometric verification updates and new systems to crack down on fraud. That means more checks, but also delays if you're not prepared. I'll be breaking it all down in today's video, step by step, so you don't get caught off guard. I'll also be sharing a few tips to make sure your June payment goes through smoothly, even with the new rules. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's get into everything you need to know, clearly, simply, and in plain English. Now before we dive in, do me a quick favor: if you find this information helpful or if you're just glad someone's explaining it all clearly, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me reach more seniors like you across South Africa who deserve to know the truth about their money. Ready? Let's go. So, let's talk about what's really happening with SASSA payments in June 2025. I know many of you are feeling uncertain, maybe even a little worried about all the changes being mentioned in the news, WhatsApp groups, and at the taxi ranks. And it's completely normal to feel that way. When something as important as your monthly grant is changing, especially when it's your main or only source of income, it can feel like the ground is shifting beneath your feet. But here's the good news: you've clicked on the right video, and by the end of it, you'll understand exactly what's changing, what's not, and what steps you should take to make sure your money doesn't get delayed or lost in the system. Alright, let's start with the first big update that's got everyone talking: payment dates. Now, traditionally, we've seen a pretty steady pattern with older persons' grants being paid first, usually on the third working day of the month, followed by disability grants, and then child support and the rest. But in June 2025, there's going to be a slight shift. It's not massive, but it could catch you off guard if you're used to heading to the ATM or retail store early in the month. SASSA has announced that they're refining the system to reduce long queues and crowding, especially for seniors. So instead of everyone flocking to the same pay points on the same day, they're going to spread out the payments a bit more. This means some people might get paid a day later than usual, but don't panic, it's not a delay, it's a reorganization. The goal here is to make collection safer, more efficient, and, let's be honest, a bit less stressful for the elderly. But that's just the beginning. Another major development is around how you collect your money. You might have heard rumors about the post office reducing services or even shutting down some branches. Well, unfortunately, those aren't just rumors anymore. A number of smaller post office branches across the country have either closed or limited their services due to financial strain. This means that many grant beneficiaries who are used to collecting cash from the post office may no longer be able to do so. If you're in a rural area and that's your only option, I feel for you, but I've also got a solution. SASSA is strongly encouraging beneficiaries to switch to a bank account method if they haven't already. Now, I know what you're thinking. A bank account. That sounds complicated, or maybe you're worried about hidden fees or losing control of your money. That's totally understandable. But here's what's actually happening. SASSA is working with major banks like Capitec, Nedbank, Standard Bank, FNB, and ABSA to make sure that social grant payments are processed directly into personal accounts without monthly charges for withdrawals at ATMs. This gives you more control, less standing in line, and reduces your chances of being a victim of theft or scams. But, yes, there's a but: if you do go the banking route, you need to make sure your information is up to date with SASSA. That means your ID must match the name on your bank account. And you'll also have to make sure your banking details are verified. SASSA uses a bank verification system to confirm that the account belongs to you and that it's active. If you give incorrect information or use someone else's account, you could end up with a blocked payment. And trust me, sorting that out takes weeks, sometimes even months. So if you're planning to make the switch, do it now, don't wait for the last minute. Now, let's talk about something new that's rolling out in June: biometric verification. Yes, you heard that right. In an effort to reduce fraud, especially identity theft where someone else collects your grant, SASSA is starting to roll out a new biometric system in select areas. That means fingerprint or facial recognition technology might be required when collecting your payment at certain points, especially in urban centers and large retail stores. Again, don't worry, this is being introduced gradually, and not everyone will be affected at once. But if you get a message or SMS from SASSA saying you need to update your records or come in for biometric registration, don't ignore it. It's legit, and it's part of protecting your money. And speaking of SMS messages, let's have a quick chat about scams. Unfortunately, wherever there's money involved, there's someone looking to take advantage. There's been a spike in fake SMSs and WhatsApp messages claiming to be from SASSA. These messages might ask for your ID number, banking PIN, or even tell you to click on a suspicious link. Please, I beg you, never share your personal details over the phone or online unless you've confirmed it's from an official SASSA source. If in doubt, go to your nearest SASSA office or call their toll-free number to verify. Better safe than sorry. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about increases. I know many of you are hoping for a significant boost to your grant amount this year. Well, the increase for June isn't major, it's modest, but still something. The older person's grant is expected to rise by around $10 to $20. Not much, I know. But with the rising cost of living, every rent counts. The government has said they're trying to balance the budget while still supporting vulnerable citizens. There's also talk about a bigger increase coming later in the year, especially if inflation continues to rise. But for now, June's increase is small but steady. Let's touch on grant reviews and reapplications. Some seniors have recently received letters or notifications saying their grants are under review or they need to update their documents. This is part of SASSA's attempt to clean up their database and remove fraudulent claims. If you've received one of these letters, don't panic. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong, it just means they need updated paperwork. Maybe your ID expired, maybe you moved, or maybe your bank account changed. Whatever it is, take it seriously and respond quickly. If you ignore it, your grant could be suspended until they get the info they need. Now here's something a lot of people are confused about: can someone else collect your grant for you? Yes, it's possible, but only if you've given them legal permission through a process called a procurator application. This is where you give someone written authority to collect your money on your behalf, usually a family member or caregiver. But here's the catch: it has to be done through SASSA officially. No handwritten notes or verbal agreements will do. It must be recorded in their system, and the person collecting will also need to bring their own ID when collecting your money. If you're sick, disabled, or unable to travel, this can be a lifesaver. But again, it must be done properly. One more important point: many of you have asked whether the Social Relief of Distress (SRD) grant, the R371, is still available in June. The answer is yes, but with conditions. The government has extended the SRD grant again, but it remains temporary and subject to monthly eligibility checks. That means your income is checked every month, and if you earn above the threshold, even from a once-off deposit, you could be declined for that month. So if you're helping a family member and sending them money, or if you receive money from a stockpile, be aware that it might affect the SRD status. It's a tricky system, but unfortunately, it's how the SRD grant is currently being managed. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you. I know this is a lot of information, but it's also extremely important. These grants are more than just money, they're your dignity, your independence, your ability to buy your own groceries, pay your bills, and live without begging anyone for help. That's why staying informed is not optional. It's essential. So what should you do right now? First, double-check your SASSA payment date for June, don't just assume it's the same as last month. Then, if you're still collecting from the post office and it's been giving you headaches, strongly consider switching to a bank account. Talk to someone you trust if you need help opening one. Third, make sure your contact details are correct with SASSA so you receive any updates or alerts. If your phone number has changed, go to your nearest office or update it online. And lastly, if you found any part of this video helpful, even just one sentence that made things clearer, please hit that like button. It tells YouTube that this video matters, and it helps us reach other seniors across South Africa who might be sitting at home right now, stressed and confused, wondering why their money hasn't come in yet. You can be the reason they get the right information at the right time. We are all in this together. These changes might feel overwhelming at first, but with the right knowledge, a little preparation, and a community that shares and supports each other, we'll get through it stronger than before. So don't go anywhere, more videos are coming soon where we'll unpack other issues like reapplication steps, disability grant reviews, and SRD status checks. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and remember, you've got every right to know what's happening with your money.